Have you ever purchased a luxury item that you thought was authentic or even a dupe and it turned out to be fake? Or have you ever not purchased something because you were too afraid that it might be a fake? Well, if you want some tips to be able to tell whether something is probably fake, keep watching. Hi YouTube, Autumn Beckman here. Welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel. My channel is all about luxury living on a budget, from high-end luxury handbags to the everyday luxuries of life. If that sounds interesting to you, please make sure you subscribe and click the bell notification icon to be notified when I post new videos. And also be sure to like the videos that you enjoy. Today's video is all about tips to not get scammed when you're buying items online, particularly luxury handbags, whether they're authentic or dupes. I love luxury bags, but if you've watched my channel for very long, you also know I love a good dupe. And sometimes it can be hard to tell the difference between one of those and a fake bag. So I have spent some time researching, and I've gathered information from my own experiences where I have been fooled before into buying a fake. I've gathered all of these tips and put them together in this video and hopefully help you from being tricked by some of the techniques that these sellers use. I'm going to start with a few basic things that a lot of you already know, but some people, when they're really new to the luxury world, they don't know these things yet. If you want to buy a brand new authentic item, you can only get those from the brand like Louis Vuitton, Chanel, Hermes, or from a retailer that sells some of those brands like Saks or Neiman Marcus. To my knowledge, Amazon is not an authorized seller of those bags, although you do see listings on there for items that look like they're brand new, Louis Vuitton for example, and the prices look like they're authentic also, but I can just about guarantee you that those are fake bags. To my knowledge, none of those stores have online outlets. Some of them do have in-person outlet stores like Prada and Gucci. I've been to those before. Louis Vuitton does not have outlets, but don't buy from a website that claims to be an outlet for any of these high-end designers. There's also a new term that's been floating around called UA. It's unauthorized authentic. That's code for fake. Some of those sellers try to convince you that these are actually authentic bags that maybe have some tiny flaw, or they were rejected from the factory where the authentics are made. None of that is true. Those are fake bags. So again, if you want a brand new authentic bag, stick with those brands or their authorized resellers, which are going to be big sellers that you've very likely heard of. If you're interested in going the pre-loved market, check out the links that I have below for places like Fashionphile and The RealReal and Rebag. These are all places where I have purchased, and for the most part, I trust them, but I would say still do your research. Even on those sites that guarantee authenticity and have in-house authenticators, there have been fakes that have slipped by. So it's always a good idea to do your research on an item, really look at all the details of the piece that you're interested in, and when you're looking at the listing for a pre-loved item, make sure those details match. And then when you get it in person, make sure they match. Similarly, if you're going to buy from a place that sells pre-loved items from individual sellers, that gets a little bit more risky. These would be places like Tradesy or like eBay or Poshmark. I haven't heard of anyone scamming on Tradesy, but chances are it's probably happened. I have heard of scams on eBay and Poshmark. And sometimes you as the buyer can do everything right. You can do your research, compare your information with the photos there and with the information in the listing. You can ask the seller questions and everything seems legit, but there are still scammers out there that will use photos of authentic items and then send you fake items. And in those cases, if you've paid with a company like PayPal, they do tend to side with the buyer. So just document everything as best you can, and unfortunately those things just happen sometimes. That's why I prefer to go with one of the resellers that I list below. There are also some authentication sites online where you can pay someone to authenticate a bag based on photos that you've sent them. And I think generally those are good, but people do make mistakes sometimes. And I've heard stories of fake bags being deemed authentic and vice versa. So again, just do your own research, be careful. Being informed yourself is really your best weapon. Now, where I see the most trickery in listings where someone's trying to sell a fake bag but not make it too obvious that it's a fake is when it comes to places where you're going to look for dupe handbags. Now, if you don't know, the difference between a dupe and a fake is that the fake will have the logo. So the fake might have the CC logo on a Chanel bag or the LVs on a Louis Vuitton bag. The fakes might have serial codes and date codes. The dupes don't have any of that, and it can get a little confusing because there are a lot of people on YouTube who, let's say they're doing an Amazon dupe video and they'll actually be showing fakes. That's a little annoying for me because it muddies people's understanding of the vocabulary and the differences between dupes and fakes. But here are some tactics that I have seen, and I'll show you examples over here on sites where I've looked for dupes, but I can pretty much guarantee you that if somebody's using these tactics in a listing, they're actually selling fakes, not dupes. So you'll know to avoid these. One tactic is to hide things in the listing. So for example, this bag just looks like a dupe of a Speedy, right? It doesn't have any logos, but if you look closer, read all the details, when you click on each of the 3 color options that they list this bag as being available in, look at the names of the colors. There's a white checkerboard, a brown flowers, and a brown checkerboard. So in this case, this seller is showing pictures of a plain bag, but they're actually going to send you a bag that has one of those monogram or damier checkerboard prints on it. And they don't show pictures of those, most likely because they also have logos on them, which would make it a fake bag. Some listings don't show you the front of the bag where a logo usually is. They'll show you the bag from all the other angles, but they won't show you the front where you know that there's a big YSL logo or a CC logo, and that's because they're trying to sell you a fake bag that does have that logo on it. Zoom into the photos when you can. Sometimes they'll show the front of an item and it doesn't look like there's a logo, but if you look closer, they've gone into Photoshop and blurred out the logo, or they've copied part of the picture and pasted it on top of the logo. And oftentimes it's pretty obvious if you just look closely enough that something funny is going on there where the logo should be. So in that case, you know that they are very likely trying to sell you a fake bag. It might even have lines drawn over places like this one. This looks like a child got to it and scribbled all over it. It's crazy. I don't know what the purpose is of all these lines, but that's fishy. There could also be something covering the logo, like in this case, they've put the color of the hardware that you'll get on the logo. Sometimes an item will just say the word logo where the logo will be. In these cases, it doesn't mean that like you can put your business logo on it. No, it's not that it's customizable, it's that that's where they have the designer logo, which makes it fake. Sometimes the bag will have letters like spelling out Chanel, for example, or Fendi, but the letters will be mixed up. They'll be in the wrong order. Now this is hit and miss because sometimes they'll do that in the photos of a listing, and when they actually send you the bag, the letters will be in the correct order, in which case it's a fake. But other times you'll order something like this and the letters will be mixed up. They won't be in the correct order, and that makes it a dupe, not a fake. And you never really know until you buy it, so that's a risky one. One thing you can do is if there are reviews on the listing, you can read those reviews and they usually tell you whether there's a logo or whether something is spelled correctly. And another big giveaway, if you are looking on a site that sells dupes and you're looking for dupes and you're trying to avoid fakes, look at the price tags. Dupes generally are not very expensive. I've seen them up to maybe $200 or so. Beyond that, you start getting into the territory of fakes. I found some listings on this website that were in the thousands of dollars. I can't imagine anyone would pay thousands of dollars for a dupe, but I can imagine people doing that for fakes that have the logo that are hopefully, they'd better be very high quality one-to-one mirror fakes. So price is not always an indicator, but when you start getting way up there, it definitely can be. What other strategies have you seen or you've experienced yourself and maybe fallen for or been tricked by that some shadier sellers use to try to trick people into buying fake bags instead of authentic or dupes? If you can think of anything I haven't talked about yet, put that in the description box below so we can learn and try to avoid these things. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a fantastic day, and I will see you back here next time. Bye.